Mark your calendars for today, April 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Later today, shortly before 2 p.m. Pittsburgh time, we will meet via Zoom. Mark your calendars for today, April 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Later today, shortly before 2 p.m. Pittsburgh. Try again. Mark your calendars for today, April 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Later today, shortly before 2 p.m. Pittsburgh time, we will meet via Zoom to broadcast a real-time intuitive public story circle for any who wish to participate. Thank you to the U.S. Department of Arts and Culture and to the Poor People's Campaign for supporting communities to participate in the People's State of the Union, #PSOTU, and our Story Circle content on this intuitive public radio. You can visit actionnetwork.org/events/intuitive public story circle to see our page launch from the end of March. You'll notice that the date listed is May 1st. That's because we're meeting today, April 17th, and again, May 1st. Please join us at both gatherings or either one that suits your calendar. We will keep updating the page date to keep the page live where you can find it. Close to 2 p.m. Eastern on April 17th, check our live broadcast document, which you can always find at the top of intuitive.pub/text for the Zoom meeting link. Click it and join us. Visit intuitive.pub/story circle for more. So, metamorphosis. Before our schedule necessarily shifted, Mishan was feeling the urge to discuss metamorphosis, and it's a good, present, relevant topic, isn't it? Z is metamorphosing. I am metamorphosing. You yourself, believe it or not, are metamorphosing too. More and more, we are all realizing how we metamorphose together. Team Human on planet Earth is sure metamorphosing together. I mean, can you feel it? I keep saying the metamorphosis I'm experiencing is a real doozy. But once you've said something like that over and over, honestly, meaning it with your whole body, it's not just the nature of those words that change, it's the nature of all words that changes. And somehow that is the same as the change having you. We seem to some people to broadcast a lot of dead air, but it's not dead air. If you listen more closely, you'll find it's full of life. It sure is full of life. Here are some main points we've been discussing recently. First, each of us needs community. As Douglas Rushkoff says of Team Human, being human is a team sport. Even and especially for those of us who need space, privacy, and isolation from others in order to support our own best health. We also need community resources and connectivity in order to survive. Without safe community, we cannot survive. If any one of us finds ourselves suddenly disconnected or undeservedly excluded from community, our likelihood of survival can drop rapidly. We offer the privilege of community to one another so that no single individual or small group must shoulder survival burdens alone. It turns out we are wiser, stronger, kinder, and healthier when we coordinate respectfully together. Second, effective communication is crucial. Every day we practice intuitive listening to ourselves, to one another, to our environments and circumstances. Part of our intuitive listening practice is reflecting, sometimes simply repeating what we have heard in order to find out if our understanding is accurate. It is especially important to practice intuitive listening with a person who is asking for help or saying they have been harmed, so that the help provided is most accurate to that person's need. Intuitive listening can prevent the mischaracterization of physical trauma as threat or pathology, a problem which causes increased and terrible, unnecessary suffering in our society. Third, there are a tremendous number of people whose best health and happiness are not compatible with the stringent capitalist approaches of the mainstream. Rather than discounting the valuable and life-saving problem solving that comes from sources invisible to capitalism and non-capitalist approaches, we value the critical lived experience, hard-won expertise, emergent solutions, and honorable living beings the capitalist mainstream has tended to misunderstand or dismiss. We refer to these 3 points, lots of what refer to them now as shared community, 2, intuitive listening, and 3, survivor-led solutions. However we name them, these 3 principles applied separately or in conjunction with one another literally repair brain function and restore physical health in a world fuller than we realized of severe or invisible trauma and environmental neurotoxins. These 3 principles, 1, shared community, 2, intuitive listening, and 3, survivor-led solutions, also prevent violence, suicide, human trafficking, the invisible compounding of trauma, and other causes of premature and wasteful death. When we apply these principles, conflict can be resolved without harm. Individuals in distress can be supported to meet their needs, and resilience increases across our communities. In a world so vocally in need of survival resilience, this must be our first step. This is an excerpt from Mishan Neal's book, Lilith in the Time of Toba. I sang with the moon as it gently massaged the earth, with oceans, and then, oh, I gotta read this better, for sure. This excerpt from Mishan Neal's book, Lilith in the Time of Toba. I sang with the moon as it gently, maybe I need to go take care of myself for a while, and then I will come back and try to read this in a way that it deserves to be read. And we need some more meditation intermittent. And then my mouth will be able to function. Mark your calendars for today, April 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Later today, shortly before 2 p.m. Pittsburgh time, we will meet via Zoom. Well, that's real interesting. Excerpt from Michon Neal's book, Lilith in the Time of Toba. I sang with the moon as it gently massaged the earth with oceans and then rolled the waters of my own body. I howled and crowed and let my being open to the pulse of the universe's breath, gravity. I traced the stars, warping and bending the space as if rippling water. I wanted to wrap my body in those waves. I vibrated in the air, calling out with my entire being for the one that I knew resonated perfectly with me. Find more about Lilith in the Time of Toba by visiting t.me/s/the Metanoic portal and metanoicother.education. Intuitive Public Radio and this intuitive community are a creative growth medium. We produce and revitalize the substrate of resilience and recovery from traumas as an interconnected community. With care, seeds can sprout. You, yes, you, are invited to join us today at April 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern via Zoom to live stream broadcast a real-time intuitive public story circle for any who wish to participate, especially our community members who can only participate with our shared content. Thank you to the U.S. Department of Arts and Culture and to the Poor People's Campaign for supporting communities to participate in the People's State of the Union, #PSOTU, and our Story Circle content on this intuitive public radio. Make sure to find links to these organizations and support their work by visiting usdac.us, poorpeoplescampaign.org, and today's broadcast document at intuitive.pub/text. Visit actionnetwork.org/events/intuitive public story circle to see our page launch from the end of March. We're meeting today, April 17th, and again, May 1st. Please join us at both gatherings or either one that suits your calendar. We'll keep updating the page date to keep the page live where you can find it. Each year, the President delivers a State of the Union address in which they tout their achievements and vision for the future of our democracy. But we the people know that true democracy is a conversation, not a monologue. Join us for a story circle as part of the People's State of the Union. This is a powerful way of coming together, getting to know one another, and reflecting on the state of our community, country, and world. No need to prepare anything, just show up and be yourself. This year, the People's State of the Union is taking place in partnership with the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. This is an invitation to come together to share our stories and visions for a more just future, to confront the evils of systemic racism, poverty, ecological devastation, and militarism, and to take powerful next steps together. We are so glad if you can join us. How to join our story circle at Intuitive Public Radio. First, click the red button at the top of this page, actionnetwork.org/events/Intuitive Public Story Circle. That will send us your RSVP. Our IPR Story Circle, with more information at intuitive.pub/storycircle, is asynchronous and location independent. This means you and your loved ones can participate from anywhere, when, not just Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you aren't able to meet simultaneously with others, that's no problem. In this intuitive community, we are broadcasting shared stories and meaningful lived experiences 24/7. That means we started March 31st, 2020, and we keep going forever. If you reach us after that date, we'll still be rolling. To share your story across our intuitive community network, visit intuitive.pub/broadcast. Record a message directly to Anchor FM by visiting anchor.fm/intuitive/message or email public@intuitive.pub. To start your story with one of our question prompts, there is a document linked on the Intuitive Public Story Circle pages, and I need an easier link to read. You'll find the question prompt link for certain on the page intuitive.pub/story circle. It's a document, and if you'd like to make a suggestion, email us at hello@intuitive.social. We will add your suggestion. When you participate in this asynchronous story circle, you may send content once or continue to send us your stories ongoing. We would love to hear from you. Remember to tell us how we can find and support you. To participate in group broadcasts, email hello@intuitive.social to schedule a collaborative Anchor, audio, or Zoom or StreamYard video recording. You may like to install Telegram Messenger and browse our public channel directory for a subject you find meaningful. In these Telegram channels, you can follow along and broadcast together with us directly from the Telegram app. You may also send us a blog post for intuitive.pub/radio or another specific community platform. If you'd like to tune into the stories of our circle, you're in luck. There are lots of ways to follow what we publish. A good place to start is intuitive.pub/radio. To join us behind the scenes in bringing story circle experiences to members of our intuitive community network, email volunteer@intuitive.pub and introduce yourself. We're looking forward to working with you. Thank you for visiting and sharing in our story circle. Thank you for supporting those you meet and learn about. And thank you for sharing your stories in community on this Intuitive Public Radio. As it gets closer to 2 p.m. Eastern on April 17th, 2020, check our live broadcast document, which you can always find at the top of intuitive.pub/text for our Zoom meeting link. Click it and join us. Visit intuitive.pub/story circle for more. Some moments ago, or in the last day or two, how does time even work now? Douglas Rushkoff posted on Twitter a quote from his article. We were naive to think that digital technology would be intrinsically and inevitably more empowering than any medium that came before it. Whoever controls media controls society. He added a link to the Medium article, and I'm going to read to you from it. This is section 31 of the new book, Team Human by Douglas Rushkoff, which is being serialized weekly on Medium. We were naive to think that digital technology would be intrinsically and inevitably more empowering than any medium that came before it. Yes, digital networks are more directionless and decentralized than their broadcast predecessors. They allow messages to flow from the bottom up or the outside in. But like all media, if they're not consciously seized by the people seeking empowerment, they'll be seized by someone or something else. Whoever controls media controls society. Each new media revolution appears to offer people a new opportunity to wrest that control from an elite few and reestablish the social bonds that media has compromised. But so far, anyway, the people, the masses, have always remained one entire media revolution behind those who would dominate them. For instance, ancient Egypt was organized under the presumption that the pharaoh could directly hear the words of the gods as if he were a god himself. The masses, on the other hand, could not hear the gods at all. They could only believe. With the invention of text, we might have gotten a literate culture, but text was used merely to keep track of possessions and slaves. When writing was finally put in service of religion, only the priests could read the texts and understand the Hebrew or Greek in which they were composed. The masses could hear the scriptures being read aloud, thus gaining the capability of the prior era to hear the words of God. But the priests won the elite capability of literacy. When the printing press emerged in the Renaissance, the people gained the ability to read, but only the king and his chosen allies had the power to produce texts. Likewise, radio and television were controlled by corporations or repressive states. People could only listen or watch. With computers came the potential to program. Thanks to online networks, the masses gained the ability to write and publish their own blogs and videos. But this capability, writing, was the one enjoyed by the elites in the prior revolution. Now the elites had moved up another level and were controlling the software through which this whole happened. Today, people are finally being encouraged to learn code, but programming is no longer the skill required to rule the media landscape. Developers can produce any app they want, but its operation and distribution are entirely dependent on access to the walled gardens, cloud servers, and closed devices under the absolute control of 3 or 4 corporations. The apps themselves are merely camouflage for the real activity occurring on these networks, the hoarding of data about all of us by the companies that own the platforms. Just as with writing and printing, we believe we have been liberated by the new medium into a boundless frontier, even though our newfound abilities are entirely circumscribed by the same old controlling powers. At best, we are settling the wilderness for those who will later monopolize our new world. That's the end of the article. That's what he ends on. I have heard this before because I listen regularly to Douglas Rushkoff's Team Human podcast, which you can find out more about at teamhuman.fm. I got into the first handful of paragraphs and I felt, aha, I was listening to Douglas, I assume read this, or perhaps it was transcribed from his audio later. I was probably the latest episode. He just posted it on Twitter. And in this case, as in other cases, I keep reading because the importance of writing that experience into my body, of reading words that are so important to me and to people I care for, it's much more important that I repeat it and repeat it for myself and whoever else needs to hear it, so that amidst ubiquitous environmental neurotoxic damage that a whole lot of us are experiencing, we still get to keep those memories. We write them into our bodies, and we use a lot of different learning modalities to do it. I have read the piece as I vocalized it, as I performed it by feeling it in my whole body. I have heard Doug Rushkoff broadcast it at teamhuman.fm. I have seen snippets of it here or there, or I have played just pieces of the podcast so that I was experiencing it from many different directions. And the really best one for me personally is reading it on the radio. That is likely because of many of the experiences I've had over the course of my life, but it is deeply, truly true. If I can read meaningful content on the radio, I remember it better. I have more immediate access to the skill sets I learn as a result of it. And maybe the best part is I get to share it with you.